Stop. Put that trowel down right now. If you're about to plant your cucumbers the way you did last year, you are literally preparing to fail. I see it every single spring. Millions of gardeners dumping their fragile, expensive seedlings into toxic, infected dirt, basically sentencing them to a slow, agonizing death. You wonder why your leaves turn a sickly yellow in 2 weeks. You cry about the stems rotting at the base. You blame the weather. You blame the seeds. I am here to tell you the brutal truth. The weather is fine. The seeds are fine. You are the problem. You are skipping the most critical step. There is exactly one fatal mistake that destroys 90% of cucumber harvests before the roots even have a chance to take hold in the soil. Today, I am going to show you the one mandatory, absolute, non-negotiable step you must take before a single cucumber plant touches the ground. But first, let's expose the massive lie you've been sold. Go to your shed. Look at those bright, colorful bags of synthetic chemical fertilizers. The garden centers tell you to throw a handful of those toxic chemical pellets directly into the planting hole. It gives them a boost, they lie to your face. Listen to me carefully. Throwing raw synthetic nitrogen and harsh chemical potassium into a cucumber planting hole is like feeding a newborn baby battery acid. You think you are feeding them? You are burning them alive. Those harsh chemicals dissolve instantly, creating a toxic, hypersaline environment that scorches the delicate root hairs. And what about those expensive antifungal chemical drenches? Absolute garbage. You pour them into the soil, wiping out every living microorganism, leaving a dead, sterile wasteland. By using those store-bought poisons, you are destroying the natural soil biome. You are killing the very earthworms and beneficial microbes that your cucumbers desperately need to survive. Throw that toxic trash in the garbage right now. If you want to harvest, you need to understand how nature actually works, not how a corporation wants to profit off your ignorance. Your cucumbers don't need a chemical cocktail. They need a biological fortress. And right now, your soil is a breeding ground for invisible assassins waiting to strike. Stop being a victim of the fertilizer industry. It is time to take control of your garden and treat your soil like the living, breathing organism it actually is. Let's get down to the brutal biology of what happens underground. The root system of a cucumber seedling is incredibly fragile. It is thinner than a spider's web. When you dig a hole in spring, that soil is damp, dense, and hiding a deadly secret. Fusarium and Pythium spores, fungal pathogens that thrive in cold, wet dirt. The moment your delicate cucumber root touches that infected soil, the fungal spores latch on. They penetrate the cellular walls of the root in a matter of hours. What happens next is a massacre. The fungus clogs the vascular system of the plant. It literally strangles the cucumber from the inside out, blocking all water and nutrients. You walk out to your garden 3 days later. The sun is shining, but your seedling is wilting. You think it needs water, so you water it more. Congratulations, you just drowned an already suffocating plant. The excess water accelerates the rot. The stem turns a slimy, necrotic brown at the soil line. This is called damping off. It is the #1 killer of cucumbers, and it is entirely your fault for throwing them into a cold, hostile, pathogen. A cucumber is a tropical vine. It demands warmth. It demands a living, active biological network to protect its roots from these predatory fungal spores. When the soil temperature drops below 60 degrees, the cucumber's immune system shuts down completely. It stops growing. It just sits there, waiting to be eaten alive. If you do not prepare the planting hole properly, you are serving your expensive seedlings on a silver platter to the most ruthless microscopic killers in your garden. So, what is the one mandatory step you cannot skip? It is a savage, 2-part thermal and biological shock treatment of the planting hole. Listen closely. Step 1. Thermal sterilization. 3 days before you plant, you will dig your holes. Then, you will boil pots of water. Real, rolling, aggressive boiling water. You will pour 1 gallon of pure, boiling water directly into every single planting hole. This is non-negotiable. Watch the steam rise. Watch the soil cook. This boiling water instantly annihilates the top layer of fungal spores, insect eggs, and microscopic nematodes that are waiting to devour your roots. It is a targeted strike. But we are not just killing pathogens. That boiling water drives deep, intense heat directly into the subsoil, raising the ambient temperature of the bed instantly. You are creating a warm, safe incubator. After pouring the boiling water, you cover the entire bed with thick black plastic. Lock that brutal heat inside the earth. Leave it for 3 days. Let the solar radiation bake the soil. When you finally cut open that plastic, the earth will be warm, moist, and completely cleansed of enemies. Step 2. The biological army. You sterilize the hole, but now it is empty. If you plant now, the bad fungi will return. We must claim the territory first. You will take pure trichoderma, an aggressive, predatory, beneficial fungus. It costs pennies, but it is the most ruthless defender your garden will ever see. Mix 1 tablespoon of trichoderma powder with a handful of completely decomposed compost and 1 tablespoon of pure, sifted wood ash. No chemicals, just biological power. Place this exact mixture at the very bottom of the warm planting hole. The trichoderma wakes up in the heat and immediately begins to multiply by the billions. It creates an impenetrable, living shield of microscopic mycelium around the planting zone. If any pathogenic rot spores try to enter, the trichoderma will literally eat them alive. The wood ash provides an instant hit of natural potassium and calcium, strengthening the cell walls of the cucumber roots so they are thick, tough. Now, and only now, you gently remove your cucumber seedling from its pot. Do not touch the roots. Do not massage them. Treat them like fragile glass. Lower the seedling into the warm, biologically active fortress you just created. The roots will touch the trichoderma, forming a symbiotic bond that will last all season. Backfill the hole with loose, warm soil. Do not pack it down like concrete. Cucumber roots need oxygen to breathe. Press lightly, just enough to secure the stem. Water them in with warm water. Never, ever use cold water from a hose on a newly planted cucumber. You will send them into massive thermal shock. Warm water, infused with a tiny drop of humic acid. This stimulates explosive root growth within the first 24 hours. They will dig deep and anchor themselves fast. Finally, mulch the base immediately with dry straw, not wet grass clippings that will rot the stem. Dry straw blocks the sun from baking the surface and traps the moisture. This step is not optional. Thermal sterilization followed by a biological trichoderma strike. It is the only way to guarantee absolute dominance over your soil environment. If you ignore this warning and go back to dumping chemicals and cold dirt, do not complain when your vines wither, turn pale yellow, and die by midsummer. But if you follow this strict, uncompromising protocol, the results will terrify you in the best way possible. Your vines will mutate into aggressive, unstoppable green monsters. The stems will be as thick as your thumb. The leaves will be massive, dark, leathery, and completely immune to the powdery mildew that destroys weak plants. Within weeks, you will be overwhelmed. You will be harvesting buckets of heavy, crisp, intensely juicy cucumbers every single morning. You won't know what to do with them all. You will have so many pristine cucumbers that you will be forcing your neighbors to take them. They will beg to know your secret. Keep it to yourself. Gardening is not a gentle hobby. It is a war against the elements, against pests, and against disease. You either fight with absolute precision, or you lose the harvest. Throw out the chemical poisons. Use the heat. Deploy the biological army. Give your plants the ruthless advantage they need to dominate the garden bed. Stop making excuses for failed crops. The power to grow hundreds of perfect cucumbers is literally in your hands right now. Act on it immediately. If you want more brutal truths, zero fluff guides, and the exact methods to force your garden to produce massive yields, hit that subscribe button right now. Do not click away until you are subscribed. Now, get off the internet, go boil that water, and prepare your soil. Your harvest depends on what you do next.